of us are here because we're probably familiar with... Ooh.
There we go.
19 degrees. The hell? This is balmy. It was literally like -4 outside this morning. I'm honestly kind of surprised by this.
The
Sculpture
thermometer is
art.
back.
Whew. Ancient aliens. If there is one piece of pseudo-archaeology that most people are familiar with, it has to be Ancient Aliens. The television series and the books that it is based on has permeated so far into the modern consciousness that it is practically ubiquitous. It's generated spoofs, memes, spin-offs, and has become a cultural phenomenon in and of itself. And most of us are here because we're probably familiar with it in some way. Whether you watched it and believed it for some time, or whether it's something that you throw on with your friends after you've all, you know, packed a bowl. I also stumbled across it as a kid and was like, huh? And now I do pretty much that exact same thing in front of a camera. Beautiful full circle moment kind of thing. Love it or hate it, it is nothing if not entertaining. So I'd been planning to make a video about Ancient Aliens for a long time because it's kind of a gimmick. And then a couple weeks ago, I get a text from one of my friends.
I was a kid then.
And the text says, Eric von Däniken just died. And I'm gonna be totally honest, I was devastated. I know that everything I say sounds sarcastic. I don't do intonation very well sometimes, but I promise you I am not being sarcastic. If you recognize the name but can't quite place where, it's because Eric von Däniken is sort of the creator of...
I think he was also the person, I think he was also the guy who wrote Chariot of the Gods. It's either Chariot of the Gods or Fingerprints of the Gods, but I think Fingerprints of the Gods is Graham Hancock's book. Eric, I think, was Chariot of the Gods, I think. I don't like the guy on account of him doing all the pseudo-archaeology, doing all this pseudo-archaeological bullshit, but it's kind of sad to see someone die.
Ancient Aliens. He was inspired by many before him, but he wrote the original texts that the Ancient Aliens show is based on. Books like Chariots of the Gods and many others. While I fundamentally disagree with Eric von Däniken's theories, his loss honestly hit me kind of hard. I mean, he is partly the reason that I'm here doing what I do today, and his works are something that have sort of inspired me to go on to do this. And while I could write a whole essay about the impact that these theories have had on archaeology and, you know, the human psyche as a whole, that's not what this video is for. And so I thought together we could pay our respects to the late, great Eric von Däniken in the only way that I know how. Watching pseudo-archaeology videos and drinking alcohol. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Milo Rossi, and today, in memory of Eric von Däniken, we are going to come together and watch an episode of Ancient Aliens.
We take a look back through the Ancient Aliens archives to the show's very origins to examine the evidence that we are not alone. We have never been alone.
Oh god. What the hell is this? What the hell is this?
Oh, Jesus. Another day in the office, sitting on my couch. What a time to be alive. Shockingly, it seems like I'm not the first person to think of doing a drinking game for Ancient Aliens, and there are more than a few of them. But I like this one the most because it's very simple. This is just from someone on Reddit. There are 3 rules. Drink every time someone says ancient astronaut, theorists say or believe. Take a drink every time they say, and if so. And take a drink every time the alien hair guy appears. I assume that can only mean Giorgio.
Another thing that is worth noting is how many times the conspiracy theorists say looks like when it comes to something. Just because it looks like something doesn't mean it is. A lot of things, whenever I see someone say looks like, it's usually one of 2 things. It's like 1, the Rorschach test, where you see what you think you see, or 2, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you are trying to look for something, and as a result, anything that looks like what you're trying to get, like, or anything that looks like your goal, basically, you will start to see that. Like if you think, oh, there is a confirmation bias, that one. That's the word.
sucralose. I'm gonna add 2 additional house rules to this just to spice things up a little. I'm not super familiar with like the vocabulary of ancient aliens, but if they're anything like other forms of pseudo-archaeology, we gotta add one in there for every time they say mainstream history, mainstream archaeology, etc. And of course, the final house rule is take a big swig if you see our boy Eric von Däniken. I'm dedicating this to him, and so I think it's only fair that I gotta pour one out because he is the man behind the legend here. Let me write down my rules while my handwriting is still legible. All right, I think I'm ready. My drink of choice is this mysterious, completely unlabeled bottle. I have no idea what it is, but it came to me in a dream, and when I woke up in the morning, it was sitting there in my sink.
Oh, the video is louder than me. Okay. Video is loud. Let me just reduce the volume.
This is a cider that was brewed by one of my buddies who does ciders with varietals of apple that they would have grown in like colonial era New England. So this is a pretty close parallel to what our founding fathers would have drank. If they could see me now, pretty close apple that they would have grown. Who does ciders with varietals of apple.
But I thought Milo was allergic to apples. Just a little more.
That they would have grown in like colonial era New England. So this is a pretty close parallel to what our founding fathers would have drank. If they could see me now,
I shall increase the volume on my headphones
pretty much everything. But it will be our drink of choice for this. As you also may be aware, for anyone who has made or drank homebrewed alcohol, who fucking knows what it's gonna do?
Yay.
Maybe it's water, maybe it's absinthe. There's really only one way to find out. So I could finish this video
has anyone ever tried
fine, or I may not be able to finish this video at all, and you will hear sirens. Wow, the founding fathers must have had some weird tastes, or really bad breath, rather. Okay, what the fuck are we doing here? What is this even streaming on?
Powders are homemade. In that era, tooth powders were homemade and contained anything from alum. What was alum again? I swear I know what alum was. I heard of it before. Of my thingy is in the way. Let me just move that away. Much better. My ancient aliens. Yeah, that was the. What was alum? I swear I know alum. I've heard of it. I remember reading about it, but I forgot what it is. Ground eggshells, brimstone, tobacco ash. So I guess the tooth powders back then were more of abrasives, but not. Yeah, it was meant to clear out food, but not prevent tooth decay. Nowadays, you have fluoride. Fluorine or fluoride? Chemistry is not my realm of specialty. I just know general sciences.
Ancient aliens. You can find
it on.
Not
gonna get through this in 1 hour.
You can find it on Squeeble. You can find it on Grobus, but only if you have a Plingle subscription. Apple TV. Okay. So something that I didn't know is that there are
I have 2 bottles of water.
7 different Ancient Aliens series. There's Ancient Aliens like Lost in New York, I don't know, and like Ancient Aliens the 2 Towers or something like that. Ancient Aliens 4 in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That works actually all too well. Now from my brief peruse over the catalog, it seems as though Ancient Aliens is beginning to get to the point where it's really starting to run out of ideas, which is not shocking when the show has been running for 20 some odd seasons. That's how I ended up finding Ancient Aliens Origins, which seems to be sort of like a boiled down like hit list of the best points that they've made in the last 76 years of airing this TV show. So I think we're gonna just kick it off with that, and we're gonna watch Ancient Aliens Origins, Season 1, Episode 1, Extraordinary
I want to do more reaction
videos,
videos,
and 23 minutes. I can't imagine how. And I'm gonna just go in completely blind.
But I end up watching so many things right off the bat that I run out of things to react to.
Teeth fall out. Let's get right into it.
Which is also why I've waited till the entire end of the week. Like I think I saw this thing in Monday. I saw this video come out on Monday or something, and I waited until the end of the week. Like I waited until today to watch this video because I just knew this was gonna be something great.
Why is this rated V for violence? They're gonna beat the shit out of Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Ancient structures.
Oh god, his
with
voice.
enormous stone blocks. Solid granite cut with laser-like precision. And accounts of astounding technological capability.
I'm gonna say right off the bat, this is gonna be really hard, guys. The benefit
Don't
that I
worry,
have
I
with all
feel
the
your
super
pain.
archaeology stuff that I do watch is that it's not edited like reality TV show, but this is, and that makes it a lot worse.
For nearly 2 decades, Ancient Aliens has traveled the globe.
Oh shit! Does that count as Giorgio being on screen twice or once? Oh, this is gonna be awful.
I'm glad I don't drink, otherwise I'm going to be knocked the
I'll do
fuck
that
out.
once.
Towering megalithic structures. Mysterious artifacts.
Eric! Woo! Drink!
In a
I think I
quest
know
for
what that
evidence
skull was
that
from.
might reveal the truth of our extraterrestrial origins.
Yo, we got the Dendera light. Honestly, drink if there's something that was in an episode of Awful Archaeology.
How
the
cool is it
Dendera
to
light
be
was
able
such
to
a
look
dumb
back
thing.
10, 11, 15
For context, if anyone doesn't know what the Dendera light is, it was a relief. It was a carved relief found in an Egyptian temple. This is straight off of my head that I can remember, so it might be slightly wrong, but it depicts the origin myth of Egyptian mythology, and there is a relief of what shows to be what people says looks like a light bulb with a filament running through it, but the filament is a snake, and if I remember correctly, it was painted black, which I do not think would be a very accurate color for something that is supposed to be a filament or a light bulb. There have also been people who said that it is a crux tube, but there are no filaments in crux tubes. Yeah, it is. And also people say that there are hieroglyphs that say that what it is, which is sort of true. There are hieroglyphs depicting what it is, but it is the origin myth and not whatever the hell they're talking about. So yeah, don't trust the conspiracy theories on this one.
years ago of ancient aliens.
Hey, George.
We now have
He also
about
has a
300 hours worth of
awful archaeology video about it, so I recommend everyone go take a look at it. It's one of his earliest videos.
It just goes to show how much bullshit I can speak. It just goes to show that I don't shut up. What is that? That's ancient aliens theory. Should I say that? I guess.
I'm gonna unzip my jacket.
I
feel like
Oh my god, he has a fucking Tolima fighter jet
oh
pin.
god,
George is dripped, dude. Oh my god. That's actually fucking swag, dude. That is so cool.
We have to wonder how they could stack 100-ton stones perfectly.
Yeah, and
That guy also has a Tolima fighter jet pin. Why did this guy not get one? I mean, I guess he has like the like Egyptian scarab beetle necklace. That's cool. Maybe that's like a sign of status or something. The other guys haven't earned that yet.
yeah, no, look, by now it's clear that we've all aged like fine wine.
I hate to disagree, George. You've not aged like fine wine. You've
aged like milk.
apple stock. The man is magnificent. He looks like he has spent a long time in high winds, and I respect that about him.
boy.
Oh, we're
this
going
is
back
gonna
to
be
2010.
tough.
And quarries. Without such equipment, builders could never construct modern skyscrapers. Yet thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations were accomplishing the same work while constructing their monuments and temples using massive stones.
Okay. That is the best pause frame ever. I'm gonna make this a thumbnail. What time was this? 20 minutes in. Okay. But yes, modern humans, we use technology to build skyscrapers, but I wouldn't say any of the ancient architects were making skyscrapers either. there's a reason why the oldest, like back then, the tallest structure ever was the pyramids of Giza, because they had to build it as a pyramid because it's a shape that doesn't fall down easily. It's very stable, and that is more or less approaching the limit of what you could do by just stacking rocks. Not to dunk on the ancient people, we're not doing that. They were very they had a lot of they have a lot of knowledge, and what's the word? They had their own technologies to be able to build stuff the way they did. Like the each block of the pyramids weighed like, I think, over a ton. No, 20, was it like 20 tons per block? So obviously they knew what they were doing. But we know how to build skyscrapers. Wasn't like the Burj Khalifa like an entire kilometer tall? And the Three Gorges Dam in China is so big, it has slowed down Earth's rotation by like a few milliseconds. Yeah, I don't think that's a very big comparison here.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
good
if
with
I would
words.
phrase it like that. The same work is not the same work. They're very impressive, but they are not skyscrapers.
Yeah.
So already a bad parallel, but I'm sure that that's going to be the only time that happens in this episode.
Did they cut these massive stone blocks with hammers, chisels, and copper wire?
Yes.
As mainstream
Yes, they did.
archaeologists suggest.
Mainstream
Mainstream.
archaeologists.
Lifted and transported them
I'm glad I
without a
prepared
pulley
2 bottles
system
of water
or the
for
wheel.
this.
Or did
What? They did have the pulley system.
Or did ancient civilizations possess advanced technologies that have since been lost to science?
All right, I'm gonna
Oh,
do my.
boy.
I say this every time I hear.
Wait, what did
Since
that
been-
say? The Great Pyramid is about 600-700 years older than the oldest pulley system discovered, which was Egyptian but 12th dynasty. However, the 4th dynasty Egypt, height of the pyramid building age and builders of the pyramids of Giza, plausibly had the skills and materials to build an Egyptian pulley. Huh. The more you know.
Lost to science.
All right, I'm gonna do my. I say this every time I hear these people talk about, ancient high technology that's been lost to science, because I actually agree. I think that there is an ancient lost technology that ancient people have or had that helped them do this that we do not possess today. And that is the power of a well-organized and motivated community. If you put a large group of people with their mind to creating something magnificent to withstand the test of time and signify their civilization, they can literally move mountains. We don't have that now, so we still achieve some
people
pretty
are
amazing
very
things,
divided
but we
nowadays.
do it with we got our supply chain and our equipment and our subcontractors and all that. And don't get me wrong, we make some amazing stuff, but you gotta remember that when you were building these pyramids, it was like a monument to a god on earth. Like, you could pretty much do anything with a labor force motivated by something like that and just enough of them. So I don't know. That's the ancient lost
totally
technology.
true.
Big shocker, not lasers.
At Giza, you just don't have the pyramids.
What?
Linked to the pyramids are what Egyptologists
okay.
call valley temples. It doesn't take a rocket engineer when you go there.
Why are the people in this tripped out? Who's this dude with the fucking fancy watch and the cardigan? And the scarf, a corduroy jacket? God damn, Robert.
Corduroy?
Drink every
The
time one of
material?
these guys is iced the fuck up.
Whereas the pyramids are built with blocks of 2 to 3
2
tons.
to 3 tons, not 20
These
tons.
temples,
My bad.
which are minute compared to the pyramids, are built with blocks of 100 tons. Why would they want to use 100-ton blocks?
It's like, okay, let's do something, but let's do it as difficult as we could possibly do it.
Yeah, that's the explanation, right, though? That's what people, do. That's, our whole thing. There's the quote about, I don't know, going to the moon. We're going to the moon not because it's easy, but because it's hard. We could have just not gone to the moon. It would have been way easier than going to the moon, but we did it because that's what's driven our little monkey brains from, hitting rocks against each other to, streaming Ancient Aliens on people with a Google subscription. There's a lot of things that are done now that are done a lot.
A modern equivalent would be every single person on Earth not wanting to take more than one trip to bring in the groceries.
lot more practically because, you know, we have a society that functions differently, but like you can find examples of people doing things that are really hard for pretty much no reason all over the place. It's not that uncommon. It's kind of the way that our brains
Analog
work.
photography.
The reason why I am convinced
Hey, George.
that sophisticated technology was utilized in these ancient rocks is because if we go to a stone quarry today and look at the scope of machinery required to accomplish similar things, those machines are
Hey, that's a bagger.
Yeah, and if you went back in time to look at the way that a wheat field was worked and you saw 1,000 people out there threshing it by hand, that doesn't look nearly as impressive as a modern combine going through a field, even though there's only one guy working that. It's because we've refined our efficiency and our technology. When you have a lot of people,
if the arm isn't completely purple, you can take more grocery bags. Exactly.
Make that more clear. It's great to have all
better
this
be a
technology now
fucking
because you don't need
staircase
as many
involved.
people to do it. So that makes sense. We've accounted for less people working one job with equipment that is capable of
Then
doing
again,
the
I
work
live
of more
alone, so I
people.
don't really have that many things to buy.
What I have actually gathered over the years is information that seems to actually argue against that notion that they had simple tools.
What he found has proved to be both revolutionary and controversial.
I'll drink for controversial.
You can't see this, but I am frowning right now.
They had to have had somebody on site who's saying, okay, I need a block this size, and then getting a block to them that size, stat, like immediately.
You know, people could measure, right?
Wait, what? I feel like a lot of these people have just never worked a day of actual, like, labor in their life or have never met, like, there's supply chains for this shit. One, I don't think every block was, like, millimeter cut to order to fit in. And two, that's just, like, that would be up to someone in a supply chain. They're standardizing the size of the blocks come in, maybe there's a place where all the blocks, arrive, they measure all of them, they figure out where all of them are gonna go if there's discrepancies in size. The fact that this guy is, hi Lupin's ass, how's that? Is that nice? Thank you. It's just crazy to me that a guy can be like, I don't really get how the supply chain worked for a construction project, and therefore it must have been alien.
Yeah, one thing that always annoys me is how many of these conspiracy theories boil down to, I don't understand how the people back then were able to do this, therefore it could not have been done. That is not an explanation for why something is done. That is not an explanation at all. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Like, I don't understand how a rocket engine works, but it doesn't mean that people haven't been to the moon.
While searching several miles north of Giza,
The distance is accurately measured to a point that ancient Egypt mathematically proved the Earth was round and even got close to the size of the planet. Yeah.
Deep cut.
Right.
The only way that they could have actually
Like even I think the ancient Greeks were also able to. Wait, I think the Greeks were also were later than the.
The idea.
There was a text there that said, but you just said that they didn't have wheels. Like, I think the ancient Greeks were also able to figure out the Earth was round. But then again, I think the Greeks was after. Yeah, I think Greeks definitely after Egypt. Like the pyramids were ancient to ancient Greek.
That ancient Egyptians used giant saws provoked much resistance from mainstream archaeologists.
Mainstream archaeologists
was convinced.
Oh, I had to take a sip of water.
Machinist, I look for
I'm gonna be
marks. I look
cleaning
for them everywhere I
my
go.
kidneys out.
I could be accused of, well, you know, if you're going to look for something, you're probably going to find it because you're looking at it through a certain filter.
Confirmation bias.
That was a very poor explanation of that. I don't know what we were supposed to be looking at that was a machine mark. That was like a guy saying that a thing was cut with a giant circular saw and kind of just, that was it. I didn't get any actual display of how that conclusion was drawn. I assume it's because it was slightly curved, so the implication is that it was like going into a giant wheel. A giant wheel is kind of interesting though. I mean, other, cultures have used water power to power enormous, wheels and things. It would be very hard to push a stone into a wheel, and I would imagine that the cutting power you'd get from a wheel would probably be even less than the power you could get off a large hand tool with people putting their backs into it. But I don't know. And I guess
round
that's the whole
objects
point,
being
because
helpful
they
was
kind of
known
just
by
plant a
ancient
seed of like,
Egyptians.
hey, here's this
Back
thing,
then,
which
they
is
had
weird
forests
because I'm
and they would
telling you it's
use
weird,
logs
and the
to
only
move heavy
explanation
things
could
by
possibly
rolling
be
it
this.
on the
Why?
logs.
Not going to tell you.
Yeah,
Let's move on
yeah,
to the
like
next one.
There
just
seems
people
to be
putting their backs
an
into it
impression
can
on the side
create a
of
lot of work.
Amon's buttock.
Like people could do a lot of things, but if they put their mind to it. Like I remember there was one person who said the chapel or church of Cologne couldn't be built. It was not built. There was a conspiracy theorist saying that the chapel of Cologne was not built by hand. Like it's like, oh, they had to use power tools to build that thing. Which my counterpoint is, if say you thought that building it was built using power tools, it was probably built relatively quickly. But no, it took them 800 years. Granted, I think they took a 200-year break because of a war or something. But give or take, it was still 600 years to build it, which I'm pretty sure would be a lot faster if people had power tools.
Where it meets the bench, where there is an undercut. It was the slip of a tool. And therefore, it must have been a tool that was quite efficient.
What? You couldn't have got a closer fucking picture of the thing you're talking about? They put like a YouTube arrow just pointing at his thigh, and they're like, yeah, you see this? That's evidence of ancient lost high technology.
Dunn also believes that the large depressions in the ground at Giza are not boat pits, as is claimed by mainstream
old bridges in Japan
archaeologists.
didn't need nails or beam supports, but still sanitary. Yeah, exactly.
That were actually used to hold the 35-foot saws.
And that they ran the blocks through the saws before they put them in the Great Pyramid.
Okay, being totally for real, that's very cool. I don't know, I'm not saying whether or not I believe it, but at least it is something that is founded in like some form of reality. He is explaining something that people could reasonably create. It's big, but they're building pyramids, so I'm not surprised by that. He's not saying like lasers. So I don't know if I buy that. This might be some poor bastard who just got roped into ancient aliens because he has a theory that's slightly different than the mainstream paradigm. But I think that's kind of cool, and actually does give some credit to Egyptians and is a neat theory for cutting of the stones. That one gets one thumbs up from Milo.
The 3 largest man-made stones in the world are found at the Temple of Jupiter at Baalbek in Lebanon. A nearby quarry contains an even bigger stone, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman.
Why?
This giant rectangular block weighs an incredible 1,200 tons. To move it today would take the strength of 21 heavy lift cranes.
All right, few things there. Baalbek, always talked about in a lot of the pseudo-archaeology
I've never heard of this one, actually.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I have a great explanation of it. That's part of it. But it doesn't really matter that we don't know the exact means that they used to move it, because the one thing we know for sure is that they moved it. It is there. There's evidence that it was moved. So clearly they had something. And that's where kind of the question mark comes in. And it's fine to speculate about that question mark because we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We all want the same answer. But Occam's fucking razor. Like, we know how Michelangelo carved the statue of David, but if I was in like a post-apocalyptic world and I found that, I would think that you need like, you know, some insane lost technology to do it when we know the files and sand grits and shit like that he used to create something so magnificent. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of ingenuity and engineering that went into moving these things that has been lost, but that does not mean that the most logical explanation is fucking aliens. Pseudoscience people also always go to this whole like moving massive rocks with modern technology and stuff like that. They always talk about how many cranes you would need to lift it. And I don't know if that's intentionally deceitful or not, because the worst possible way to move a heavy stone is by lifting it.
Yeah,
imagine you're making a patio or something and you got like 20 bags of fucking Quikrete, and each one of those things is pretty heavy. Think about which one would be easier, picking up the bags and carrying them over, or you and a buddy put like a ratchet strap around the bottom of the pallet and just drag the thing across the yard.
That's right.
Yeah, I get it would get caught in the dirt and the grass and stuff, but my point is, it is way more efficient to drag an enormous weight than lift it off the ground.
Yeah, and then, you know, if you can use like a wedge or like a ramp or something, and then pull it onto logs and roll it over. people are not stupid.
That's the
Why
weird
am
thing
I
that they
getting
always
so
say
pissed
with the
off?
pyramids, where they're like, how did they lift the Queen's Chamber stone? It's like 300 feet
Why
off the
am I
ground or
crashing
whatever.
out
It's
so
like, well, they
hard
didn't
over
lift it there.
this?
They built the pyramid up to that point and dragged that enormous stone up there like they did with everything else and put it on top.
We're supposed to
20%
accept
gradient. That's really, that's
the
actually
people
quite,
who build the
that's,
pyramid
Damn it, he's
did
dripped
not
out.
have
Drink.
The wheel, did not have the pulley, did not have iron. In fact, they had nothing. With brutal
They had nothing.
manpower and pieces of strings. The contact.
Oh my god.
It's so demeaning the way they say this.
Holy shit. They were nothing. They just had brute manpower and pieces of strings. Yo, they built the pyramids, dog. Why do you have to be such a dick?
How
Yeah.
did prehistoric civilizations cut such intricately designed patterns in solid granite?
Slowly. Next question. Oh my god.
Granite
Jesus,
isn't even
we're
all
10
that
minutes
hard.
into this.
Okay, it's
Holy
kind of hard. Granite is
Palm
like
Springs,
a
California.
full scale of 6.
Master stonemason and
Bakersfield, California.
uses a variety of
Modesto, California. Nexus of ancient alien civilizations. Palm Springs, California. Landing site of the
Oh yes, another thing I want to say. A lot of people I have seen a lot of conspiracy theorists say that it is impossible to cut the stone blocks because they were made of granite, and the ancient Egyptians only had copper tools. Well, one thing you would know, one thing I've already read up on, and also Milo has explained it a few times, is that they didn't just use the copper tools; they used sand. They would they would cut like a groove into the area they wanted to cut, and then they would pour sand onto it, and then using their copper saws they would continuously cut. The copper saw wasn't the thing that was actually cutting it, but the sand, because sand is made out of silica, which is sand is basically like quartz, and quartz is also made out of silica. Silica is harder than granite in the most hardness scale. The ancient Egyptians figured that out, and they used the sand as an abrasive powder to cut through the granite stone, while using the copper tools to basically apply force. And people would say, but if quartz is so hard, wouldn't it just destroy the copper tools? Well, yes, eventually, and they replaced the copper tools. Like, do people seriously think that they just had one single saw? Like, even right now, when we have like metal tools and people cut wood and everything, they eventually replace the saws as well because they will get worn out. So back then, people just used the copper tools. They would use the sand as an abrasive, cut through the stone, and when the copper tools wore out, they would swap it out. It is very, very annoying how demeaning conspiracy theorists treat the ancient civilizations like they are they were stupid and had someone teach them how to do these things. The only time that I have seen any European or like Western civilization be put in any sort of conspiracy theory is basically Stonehenge. That is about it. And if you look anywhere else, you will see places in Africa, places in Polynesia, you will see places in Southeast Asia, places in South America talk like they needed aliens to teach them that, because obviously the people back then were so dumb they couldn't put rocks together. I am crashing out so hard.
aliens.
I am
Such
sorry.
as diamond-tipped wires and polishers.
Of fucking
enable
course
him
they
to
used the
fashion
diamond.
works of art out
Yes,
of
they had to
huge
use
granite
diamond tips
blocks
back then.
obtained from nearby quarries.
I already see where they're going with this, and the difference between what he's doing here and what ancient people did.
Yeah, we have
is
diamonds
that he can do
now.
it really fucking fast because he has power tools. You could do any of this with fucking manual labor if you took the time to learn how to do it and didn't have soft fucking hands.
Yet even with these high-tech tools, Hopkins cannot replicate what ancient civilizations accomplished thousands of years ago.
That is 100% bullshit. That is 100% bullshit. He could absolutely replicate what they did hundreds of years ago. Maybe he just really sucks at his job, I don't know.
The precision on some of the work that I've seen is just incredible. It's possible to do by hand, but...
There you go, that's it. The guy that works with stone, Roger Hopkins, subtext stone sculptor, said it's possible to do by hand. Whatever the but that follows doesn't fucking matter, because the people who built these structures didn't have power tools. They were master artisans and skilled craftspeople. No one has those skills today, not because it's like lost laser technology, but because we now have tools that have made those skills and those practices obsolete.
Yeah, it is a bit of a shame that all the old
incredible
they're beginning to run out.
Plus, you have to have years of experience to be.
Oh wait, I'm blocking Milo. I just realized. There we go. Now we can watch this together. Hi, Milo.
Able to pull it off.
Yes, that's literally what I'm saying, bro. Wow, I can't believe they even included that soundbite. Like anyone listening to that, you know, should be able to immediately tell that it's like, well, then anything they say here is like beyond speculation.
In my opinion, the most tangible pieces of evidence that we have regarding possible extraterrestrial technology is when we look.
This is totally possible to do with hand tools. It would just take a really long time. What do you have to say to that, Giorgio? Well, my opinion, nah, I don't think so.
We ourselves today could not replicate what our ancestors allegedly accomplished with stonemasonry.
I don't know why they say that so much. That's got to go on like the bingo card too. We could not replicate today.
Puma Punku is a large temple complex located on a high plateau in Bolivia.
Was this the one in the H-stones?
The people who lived here had neither a written language nor the wheel. Yet somehow, they built one of the world's most complex structures.
How did they do it with no profit incentive? I need a snack.
I wish I had a snack.
Ancient alien theorists view Puma Punku.
There it is, ancient alien theorists view.
Yep.
Ooh. Does not mix well with cookie.
But the fact that the stones as such are of such tremendous design that it requires concepts of mathematics which are far beyond anything we're actually using right now. Yet somehow in the past...
Qualifications, author.
What about these rocks requires a knowledge of mathematics that we don't have now? Motherfucker, we have a telescope in space that can see the light of a galaxy warping around like its own gravity. I promise you that we can understand.
Was it its own gravity or was it a black hole?
Jesus.
I think it's a black hole.
Somebody has made that for a specific purpose, and in a way which even computer programs today would kind of go, how is this possible?
What do you mean? That doesn't make sense. Oh my god.
These rocks are so complicated, even a computer doesn't know how to do it. Have you ever, like...
Yeah, CNC machines.
A fucking CNC machine. Like, they can machine, like, metal down to, like, fractions of a fucking millimeter with a computer. I saw this...
Like, they have 6 axes. I've seen CNC machines with 6 axes. They can drill or cut into parts from 6 different points. It's not that difficult with modern technology.
Video once, Jesus, this is like hanging out with Milo at a bar. I saw this fucking video once where a guy had like machined like a hole through a piece, like a metal cylinder, and made like another cylinder that fit inside it. It was all very exhilarating, honestly.
Oh yeah, the zero tolerance.
They were so perfectly machined.
I think what's it called, the zero tolerance something.
The other because of the air pressure in them. Like it was so perfectly cut that the air wouldn't be able to come out to let the rod drop into the hole, you know? So if you're telling me that we have technology that can do that bullshit,
if I remember correctly, it was
guy on fucking Instagram reels,
cut using a wire and lasers.
We could make those rocks. I got my cylinder stuck in a rock.
The cylinder must not break.
The cylinder remains unharmed.
Are over 40 to 50 tons each. What can you tell us about this?
Boy, they had their stone cutting abilities, you know, pretty well fine-tuned for 5,000 years old.
I wonder what did happen to that guy who had his
It's almost unbelievable.
cylinder stuck in a different cylinder.
It's almost unbelievable. You know what we call that? We call that pretty believable. That's another way of phrasing that. Glass half full kind of situation, you know?
I mean, it would be difficult for us with our equipment to get that kind of precision.
What do you mean?
Difficult, but not impossible, I would imagine. Have you just gone to like a fucking garden center? You ever go to fucking Mahoney's Garden? Is that too regional? Is Mahoney's Garden nationwide?
I have never heard of Mahoney's
Brighton,
Garden.
Chelmsford, Concord, Falmouth, Osterville, Tewksbury, Winchester. Never mind, that is a hyper-local analogy. Mahoney's Garden shout out. If you know, you know. Okay, Mahoney's or not, I'm sure you have a garden center nearby. You ever just like gone to the part where they have fucking bird baths and, you know, like little stone angels and shit like that? I mean, I guess a lot of those are made out of cement, but a lot of them are also carved. Again, I'm not like calling it easy. I don't have the skills to do it, but I would imagine that if your job is to cut stone with power tools, you could make this. Like, in the comments, if you're someone that's done stuff like this, tell me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Would it be hard to cut a stone with modern fucking equipment? If that's their whole pitch here, that they had to have something on par with modern equipment to cut these stones, it shouldn't be hard to do with modern equipment either. It should be fucking easy. Rah!
Let's talk a little bit about inside boxes.
Ooh, I was afraid you were gonna...
Now we're talking, George. Let's talk a little bit about inside boxes. I need another drink for that, though.
Oh, he's already true.
Make it to the 15-minute mark before George starts telling you what you really want to know.
Use what they have, these computer-driven CNC machines, which have diamond tips, and you have a template that, you know, the computer follows, and even then, it may not come out as perfect.
What? That's even better! Also, why didn't they try and make that shape to demonstrate the difference? Probably because this one would look, the CNC machine one would look a lot better. Or it's because it isn't possible.
Because even though you can tell that obviously this piece broke off, nowhere in here can you see any imperfection. It's like, and by the way, when you're there, if you go with your finger over these edges and you put a little bit of pressure on your fingertip, you can cut yourself.
It's stone. Stone is rough. Yeah, you can cut yourself. I cut myself with a rock when I threw it at one point, and the damn thing was almost smooth. Does that mean I have soft hands? Shit. But when I was at the river, okay, I picked up a rock, I tried to throw it because I thought I could skip it, and then it cut the living daylights out of my fingertip. It's not that difficult to get cut by stone, okay?
This is how sharp the edges are.
I hate pulling the I don't believe it card because that's what these guys do all the time, but I'm most of the way through this, so I think I can do it. George, I don't believe you. George, you're a liar and you will spend an eternity on this ship. Like, I feel like you even need a particularly sharp knife to, like, push your finger onto it and cut yourself. Like, a dull blade you could put a decent amount of pressure on and not hurt yourself.
There actually are.
Public safety announcement. Be sure, if anyone is cooking, please be sure to use a sharp knife, because if in any case you accidentally do a miscut, it is less likely that you are going to hurt yourself as badly as with a dull knife, because if it's a sharp knife, you're only going to cut yourself a little bit, and if it's a dull knife, you're going to be putting a lot of effort into cutting something, and so if it slips, you're going to cut yourself a lot harder. This has been your public safety announcement.
Ancient Incan legends that suggest that they had the capability of softening the stone.
God.
At Sacsayhuaman, for example, we find these gigantic stone blocks, gigantic stone walls.
Been there, drink.
Where it looks as if those stones were molten.
No, they were
put into place, and then the stone hardened again.
Oh, that was good. That was a good pseudo-archaeology 1-2 punch.
Doesn't Sacsayhuaman like in seismically active place?
Are we gonna talk about, you know, chemically testing the rocks to see if there's any evidence of that? No, of course not. because all we need to know is there's a legend that I've chosen to interpret in this way, and man, it really looks like it, and that's what I want to believe.
I am crashing out way too much over
Several hundred
a single
miles
video.
north of Puma Punku, Machu Picchu sits high atop the Peruvian Andes.
Machu Picchu.
I can't help but think that whoever was behind this thought the process through from beginning to end. They didn't quarry the rock and then decide, how the heck are we going to transport this?
I'm pretty sure that's what happens in modern times as well. You don't just, you know, buy a brick and decide, I'm going to build a house. I'm pretty sure you think, I'm going to build a house, and then you buy a brick. What the hell are you saying, sir?
They knew, from beginning to end,
that's the process of making the building.
With whatever techniques and technology they were going to use, so that this was no big deal.
You should talk to that guy earlier who didn't understand supply chains. I have a feeling that this very meticulous city was planned from the beginning. Yeah, fucking probably, dog. What does that have to do with aliens?
Based on his experience, Mike Dunn believes the simplest way to build the Great Walls of Machu Picchu would have been to transport small rocks to the site, then melt them, and use molds to fashion the exact size and shape needed.
I'm glad that he thinks that. That's excellent. That's excellent for him. It's a lot less believable than the giant spinning saw. I feel like that is both cool and at least partly believable.
Oh boy.
The molten rock thing I don't highly believe, but I agree. That's a logical line of thought. If you had technology that could melt and cast stone, it would be a lot easier to transport a lot of little rocks than really large ones. So why don't you prove what sort of technology they used to do this? The fundamental evidence, the foundational evidence wouldn't be, I think this. It would be, here is evidence of how this was possible and evidence that it was done here.
I have a stone torch, which I use for sometimes shaping granite. And I mean, it generates a temperature of in excess of 3,000 degrees. 3,000 degrees. That's a lot.
I really feel like the stonemason guy is someone that they interviewed and they just took all of his sound bites really out of context. Like, it doesn't sound like he's actually arguing for this. It sounds like that was an indignant response of him being like, dude, do you have any idea how much energy that would take? And they clipped it and put it in such a way that it sounds like he's saying, and it's amazing they could generate that much energy.
I'm wondering
two possibilities.
which situation it is.
Did it, which we really don't think happened.
What?
Oh, whoa, curveball.
Some high-tech civilization from another planet came.
Oh, right,
and showed them how
ancient
to do
aliens,
it.
no wonder.
Then took their materials and tools and went back.
That is the same shit, bro. That's like the same shit.
None of these ancient monuments that were constructed or manufactured by extraterrestrials. It was us, humans, who built it with extraterrestrial technology. It's entirely possible.
I love when every time they've shown the Puma Punku, you can watch it on Puma Punku with a People subscription. Every time they've shown the every time they've shown the Puma Punku stones, since Giorgio said the thing about pressing on it too hard and cutting yourself, I've been looking at the edges and it's just killing me every time. That looks like it would be actually quite pleasant to rub yourself on.
There must have been thousands of ancient structures made of mud and wood.
Oh, we're back in the studio. Fucking 20-minute mark. Good Lord.
But when you build with stone, that's for the ages.
And stone is much harder to work with and build structures, especially megalithic.
Stone is much harder to work with. Goddamn, bro. Take it easy. Guy can't spend fucking 10 minutes in a room with Giorgio Tsoukalos without thrusting a little, you know?
Were transported in many cases from miles and miles away.
Yeah, and that is one of the smoking guns of the ancient astronaut.
Okay, here's my problem with that theory, with that argument. If we're talking about Egypt, yes, the quarries that they used to, quarry the stones from were really far away, but the quarry was connected by a very, 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 little known thing known as the Nile fucking River. They had boats.
Theory, transportation, and also the stonework. I mean, some of the stonework is so perfect, you can't even put a dollar bill.
My God, I hate this argument. take 2 bricks, lay them on top of each other, and try and fit a piece of paper through them. Chances are you're not gonna be able to do it either. It's 2 things on top of each other is not gonna make it very easy to put anything through it. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I don't even think you need to have manufactured items. Just find 2 stones and put them on top of each other. It's gonna snag eventually. That is a really, really poor argument.
In between the fittings.
I am not even halfway through the video.
I go to that wall in my garden. You can't even fit a debit card between it. It's crazy how all the rocks aren't slightly levitating off of each other. What the fuck? Give me fucking something. We're doing prop comedy now, bitches.
Hey.
Okay, if anyone ever asks you, can I have $1?
Can I have $1? Actually, yeah.
Here. $20. $20 probably won't fit between it though, because it's bigger.
Yeah.
If anyone ever asks you, dude, why do you keep all those bricks in your kitchen? Show them this video. See, it comes in handy sometimes, guys. All right, Giorgio, you fucking smart ass. Let's have a look at this. We got 2 bricks stacked on top of each other. Can you fit $1 between them? Fuck. You can't fit a fucking $1 between them because they're stacked on top of each other. I'll keep trying. I swear to God, I'm not just trying to make this difficult. Like, look. Oh, I can get a little under there. And then watch. Cool. Now it's fucking stuck because they're fucking bricks stacked on top of each other. The other one people always say is a credit card. Honey, I swear I'm not gonna fuck up one of your cards. So you go and you fit a fucking... Well, fucking no shit, you can't fit a credit card between them. Why would you be able to fit a credit card between them?
Thank you, Milo, for proving my point.
I don't say this lightly. Atlantis. I know. I already see the chat blowing up.
Right, I'm still waiting for that video chat.
I'm walking closer to the camera. That's how you know this is serious. So I wanted to give a little update here.
It's been over 2 years. It's been over a year.
On it, and I have finally some updates
Almost
coming.
2 years.
I see you guys asking about it constantly.
Yeah, where's the video?
I can't miss you guys asking about it constantly. And believe me, there's
I want
no
Atlantis,
one on Earth
Milo.
who wants to get that video done more than myself. Because I love Awful Archaeology. It is my favorite series I've ever done, and I want nothing more than to get back to actually making it. But I've dug my grave. I'm gonna fucking lie in it. I am not doing another episode until Atlantis is done. So I am finally putting together my schedule for how Atlantis is going to come out and the exact details so that you guys actually have something to go off. I'm still formulating it because I don't want to make more promises I can't fucking keep, but to give myself enough time, I decided I'm going to tie in the announcement for what's happening with Atlantis with this year's episode of the Uncut Vermont podcast, the annual April Fool's video. So get ready for that. Mark your calendars. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. In the meantime, since I'm sure we've all been missing Awful
crashed
Archaeology,
out so hard, my throat is having a bad time.
That is very, very nice. Check this out. How do you hold a poster open? Check that out. We got a fucking Awful Archaeology poster, baby.
Hang on, I want to see the whole... Okay, let's see. Episode 1, the all the way. Yeah, the very first episode I saw, I think it was like 2000. When? I don't remember when was the video again, but the very first one was about the all the way man, and it literally the only evidence they had was the picture of this skull because it got destroyed. And then the second episode was the what was the second episode about? Where was it? I don't. Oh, no. I think no. I don't remember what the second episode was about, but his first episode was the very first video I saw about him was about the melted buildings theory, which is stupid. Then the Grave Creek Stone, which is probably a faked artifact, found when people were desecrating a Native American burial mound in Moundsville, and then everyone who saw it gave their thoughts on what the language could be, and none of them were and all of them were for Western origin, and none of them even came close to suggesting that it could possibly be the language of the natives themselves, which is really racist. The footprint conspiracy were about how they saw fossilized human footprints that was supposedly as old as the dinosaurs, which was wrong. It was actually just dinosaur footprints that got. It was a dinosaur footprints that got that had basically sediment fill in and made it look like a human footprint. Two, it was a concretion, which is an ironstone concretion, which is basically which is a more solid piece of item or anything really. It could be like a shell or stone or anything, and then sediment would pile on top of it, and then it would like softer sediment would pile up on top of it. Over time, it could erode, and then you could pop, and the inner core can pop it out. And then people saw the layers of sediment as if it was supposed to be a shoe print. The Dendera light, which was the really dumb one, where people thought this was supposed to be a light bulb, but obviously people didn't have the ancient Egyptians didn't have evidence of light bulbs, glass or anything or like wires or anything. No. The Baghdad battery, which is often tied together with the Dendera light, even though it's in Baghdad and really, really fucking far away. And it was, I think there were a few jars that were found, and no, I do not think it was used as a battery. It was most likely a ritual. It was most likely a ritual item. Episode 7, this one was about the Gosford glyphs, which is a supposed set of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs found in Australia, but it was proved to basically be a few different people carving it onto a stone wall, because one person was even caught carving it. Some people saw the prints when they were quite fresh, where they had like what was it called? It's because it looked like someone used a Dremel to carve it in. And some of the hieroglyphs were as egregious as being carved backwards. I think this is episode 2, the Ornithisch's Phineas map, which showed the presence of a landmass that was known as Terra Australis, which suggested that Antarctica was ice-free, which it definitely was not, or if it was basically back when Antarctica was still at the equator. But it is basically people seeing Australia and then thinking that that was Antarctica, because it was made using maps. It was made by Ornithisch's Phineas, who basically took different maps as reference material and inferred the presence of this Terra Australis. And then there was the Australopithecus Harold Cookie, which was which was a tooth file of a extinct species of peccary that was mistaken as the tooth of a ancient hominin in America, which was proven to be false. It was Nebraska. Yeah, it was about the Nebraska man. Yeah, I remember what I watched. I am a big fan of yours, Milo.
I absolutely love the style of like old maps and like infographics and things like that. And so we decided to do this in kind of the style of like a 50s classroom educational poster, one of those cool like screen print things. And this is every single artifact that we have talked about in Awful Archaeology so far. Each one contains a little blurb written by yours truly, explaining a little bit about what it is, as well as hand-done illustrations by my wonderful partner Zaboski. It's got all your favorite or least favorite things that we've talked about, as well as a little Easter egg hidden in there that some of you may find, and is available now on the shop, miniminuteman.com, or in the description. As all of you know, I don't do any sponsorships on this channel, which is stupid
not anymore.
Because an account of my size could be raking in literally like tens of thousands of dollars off of shelling out to some fucking VPN company. But frankly, you guys know my
wish
convictions,
I had a sponsorship,
and I
but
would never
I
be able to live with myself if I did that. So I understand we still have to make our bag, and so I want to do that by putting beautiful things out into the world that you guys will appreciate, instead of shelling out for some evil corporate overlords. The proceeds of all of the merch go to keeping the channel running.
Antarctica has never been ice-free. Blood Falls get its red color from iron that has never been... let's see. Antarctica has never been ice-free. Blood Falls gets its red color from iron that has been never exposed to oxygen before. Proof that Earth has mostly been a frozen phase before life existed. I remember back when... Well, okay, maybe before it was Antarctica, but when it was still a landmass all the way up in the equator, it used to be I think it used to be a rainforest or something, because I have seen, because there are fossils of ancient plants in Antarctica right now. They have found fossils of plants from back then. So the landmass has been near the equator where there were trees, but then after it moved down and became Antarctica and was covered with ice, then it was definitely not ice-free. Maybe past. Yeah, maybe past. Because it's definitely near the edges of it. The center parts were probably not. I don't think there's much in the center, but I don't know too much about Antarctica, so I can't say with 100% certainty. Because I do not want to be spewing out misinformation. I should put out like a little fact check thing, like somewhere around here later for myself when I say this, if I put this on YouTube.
Paying the team, and a percentage cut even goes to the artist that created it, as part of my pledge to work with artists in a world where, you know, art is valued less now than ever. Oh, yeah. I totally forgot. Awful Archaeology stickers as well. I already took a couple of these off, as you can see, but I put them on my water bottle. We got the Dendera light on there.
Fried rice.
Everyone also always talks about that sticker, which I see why it's the best sticker I have. We got the little Oldaway man up there. Look at that, 2 skulls next to each other. Awesome. Love the Offspring. So if you want to support the channel and get some cool swag to decorate your apartment, your house, or your water bottle, then click on that there link in the description. Go ahead, do it right now so that you don't forget later. It'll be open in another tab when you're done watching this video. I'm waiting. Thank you all again for your support. It means the world to me and helps us do what we do here. Like and again, April 1st, there's going to be info about
I have gotten so worked up about this video that I am actually sweating.
Okay, back to it.
The Inca established their capital city of Cusco, which thrived for over 300 years at an elevation of more than 12,000 feet.
Was it the giant
the ancient fortress of Sacsayhuaman?
Oh no, Sacsayhuaman,
whose immense
right.
stone walls may hold secrets which predate the Inca themselves.
Oh boy, this is gonna be difficult.
Feeling is that we're looking at a two-phase.
Oh my God!
Graham Hancock, holy shit!
Look who it is! It's Grandma! Oh,
I did not expect to see Graham Hancock here.
I mean, this is gospel. Fuck. What? Why am I even looking into any of this? I didn't know that it had his endorsement. They should have just fucking said that at the beginning.
Know that. I didn't know he was in this video.
That's a finish your drink, of course.
I'm not going to finish my drink. There is like 200 milliliters of water left. If I drink all this, I'm going to be pissing the whole stream at once.
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's making the Graham Hancock in the room feel a little better. New rule. Graham Hancock agree. Fuck. Graham Hancock appears, finish your drink, open another drink, finish that one too. Author, Underworld, mysterious
Milo is going to die by the end of this video.
Author, Horsecock.
According to conventional archaeology, culture built the older sections of the site approximately 1,000 years ago. But the Inca themselves believed the site was constructed by an earlier unnamed race of people, led by a powerful god who descended.
Hey, yo, we got the unnamed race of people. It wasn't just a different group, it was a different race. A more civilized white race, potentially, from the stars. Ah, Jesus Christ. They didn't actually say white. I'm putting words in their mouth. That always weirds me out, though, whenever they go race. Like, you didn't have to phrase it like that. You could just say a different group, another civilization, another culture.
Throughout time, there has been witness to a god named Viracocha
I'm glad you're
that visited the South American people and blessed them and gave them all types of technology.
At least I'm not the only one crashing out.
Oh, so we're believing in God now. Okay, heathens. Jesus, who is this guy?
Some of his physical characteristics make him stand out from the indigenous population because he was a very tall, pale-skinned, white-haired being.
Yep, pale skin. I wonder what they mean by that.
They didn't actually say white. I'm putting words in their mouth.
His name was Ben. He was from Colorado.
Yeah. His name was Ben, and he was a bud tender from Boulder. His name
was Ben, and he's opening a brewery in Boulder, Colorado.
His name was Ben, and he's in an open relationship. His name is Ben, and he wants to know if you'll join his polycule. Where the fuck is my cat?
I don't even have a relationship.
Smell you. Why won't you let me smell you? No one ever lets me smell them anymore. Come here, Schminky. We're learning about the lost
Hey,
white
Schminky, I love
race.
Schminky. Schminky is very fluffy.
But did this god Viracocha actually exist? Could he have been this ancient?
Dude, these jokes just write themselves. I was like, here I am. I'm gonna Mystery Science Theater an episode of fucking Ancient Aliens, and they're funnier than I am. God damn it.
As ancient astronaut theorists suggest, a visitor from an alien world. If so, it might help to explain just how the ancient site was constructed.
No, I don't think.
It takes about 10 to 20 men to move a 1-ton rock. So when you're talking hundreds of tons, you're talking thousands of men.
There you go. Looks like we got it, guys. Fucking figured it out. There's
Pretty
a
sure they had
video I saw a
1,000
little
people
while
in
ago of, I think it was,
population,
like the Ohio State Highway Department or something like that.
A lot of people
building a
putting
new
their work
highway
together should be
overpass
done.
Bridge.
Should
And
be.
what they did was they built the entire bridge span next to the existing bridge, and then in one night they demolished the old bridge and slid the new bridge into place to reduce the amount of time the bridge had to be closed for. And the way that they did that was not only with machinery, but by literally lubricating the ground with Dawn dish soap to decrease friction and make the giant bridge span move a lot quicker, so they needed a lot less energy for it. And that's one of the theories that I heard when I was in Peru about how they moved these giant stones, where obviously you could brute force one of these things with a few thousand people, and I'm sure they did use a few thousand people, but the Incans used llama fat.
Llama fat, okay.
They used llama fat mixed with dirt as sort of like the mortar between
that's so smart.
At Tambo. If you run your finger between it and go like this, you can still feel like the oil on your fingers. And like any fat, it's slippery. So one of the theories is that what they would do is they would get fats and oils and things like that and literally like lubricate the grass and the ground in front of where these stones were. They were still immensely heavy and you needed thousands of people to move them, but if you can reduce the friction between a massive object and the surface it's sliding across, it's a lot easier. It's a work smarter, not harder. So it's a really good example of an actual potential lost technology. Something like that would not really leave any actual evidence behind other than maybe a spoken memory, which is long lost. Not brought to them by aliens, not brought to them by a fucking white blonde guy from the sky, but learned themselves because they were fucking adapted to their environment.
Talk about granite, you're talking about a composition of feldspar, mica, and quartz. So you need diamond to actually braid it or cut it.
Oh my god, again with this argument.
We would use diamond, you know? That's the only way you could do it, really, is with diamond. You can cut something with something of the same fucking hardness. That's how they did it in Egypt. The copper functioned like paper in sandpaper. The paper is just a structure that is used to rub the aggregate onto the material, and that does the cutting.
Together with blocks of stone weighing 50 or 100 tons.
Graham's back. Drink.
Cut and shaped like...
This is also kind of crazy, because Graham Hancock does so much work to try and separate himself from Ancient Aliens theory. Like, he desperately wants people to not think that he believes in ancient aliens. And I don't necessarily think that he does. I'm not arguing for that. But it's crazy that he's been on episodes of Ancient Aliens.
It is kind of crazy that he doesn't want people to think he doesn't want people to think he is associated with ancient aliens or believes in ancient aliens, but his own theories of how there was he believes that there was supposed to be a Ray, hello. I am so worked up about a ancient pseudo archaeological videos right now. I am actually sweating in a room that is okay. The room is actually 20 degrees. Holy shit! But I am. You saw this video yesterday? Nice. I am so worked up. I am sweating. But right now I'm talking about the portion where Graham Hancock shows up. It is quite interesting how he doesn't want to be associated with ancient aliens, even though he also has his own argument. Connection holding up. Yep. I had 0 drop frames. Thank you so much for the suggestion of not using the wired connection. Something is definitely wrong with the connection. I should check that later. But where was I again? Oh yeah, he doesn't want people to think he believes in ancient aliens, but he believes in a globe-spanning civilization that taught the world how to build the things they built. And he also argues that that ancient civilization taught the world agriculture, which doesn't really make sense because you're unfortunately gonna go do things, but take care and have a good sleep. Yeah, don't worry, go do your thing. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up. Bye. He also argues that that civilization taught the ancient civilizations how to do agriculture, but it doesn't make sense because domesticating plants takes a very long time. What was the thing we have right now? Like Brussels sprouts, kale, broccoli, cauliflower. Like all this came from the brassica plant, and different civilizations basically bred. Is it breeding? No, it's not really breeding, is it? But they grew the plants to specifically grow larger sections of what they want in order to eventually create what we have now, like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts. What else? There's more, but all of these came from the same plant. Ancient, like the eggplants we have now used to actually look like an egg. Lemons are hybrid. Yeah. Like life never gave us lemons. Yeah, that one as well. Like I forgot what people combined to make lemon. Bananas as well. Like if you look at a wild banana, it's really small, has a shit ton of seeds, and very starchy. The skin is hard to open. It's basically just just enough to be worth an animal's time to try and eat it. Wheat, like wheat nowadays, you can like each strand of wheat has like a lot of grains on top of it, but back then it used to have like just a few. Corn, like the corn cobs you have nowadays have like hundreds of corn in it, but back then it used to be like what like a few bits of corn on it. Potato. Oh wait, potato was hybridized as well. Oh, I remember potatoes used to be like a staple of a very like in one of these ancient civilizations. It used to be like was it Peru? I think it was Peru that they had a lot of they had their own variant of potato that they grew to be able to withstand the high altitudes. I am going off on such a big tangent. I am so sorry.
I feel like if it wasn't something that you at least somewhat subscribed to, you probably wouldn't go on it. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. They've got real archaeologists on it because they chopped them out of context. Either way, weird that Graham's on here.
If you look at the style the Sacsayhuaman wall was built,
the closed captions for Saksai woman, sexy human. What? Thank you, YouTube. Thank you so much, YouTube.
The blocks look as if they've been molded like putty.
Looks
like. If you can mold stone into place, then all of a sudden, as crazy as this sounds,
George,
it makes more sense because there is no mortar that has been used.
The Andes is the longest mountain range in the world. And that's because there's a fault where everything is crushing together and it's pushing the Andes Mountains up. And with that comes massive tectonic activity where things are breaking and moving and shaking and breaking. And so the Incans and every other culture that's lived in this area knew that. And so mortar really is only so effective. You can only use it in some small places. I mentioned the mortar earlier for the Ollantaytambo terraces, and those terraces were just farming terraces. There wasn't like homes on them or anything, so it wasn't super important. But if you use mortar as a key part of your construction, it runs the risk of falling apart in an earthquake. So these giant stones are a very elaborate solution. So yeah, it's really impressive and really cool. And the reason they don't have mortar is because they don't fucking need mortar. And mortar doesn't work in this environment. It's people that have become adapted to this place over literally thousands of years.
If I remember correctly, the people of who lived in Saksai Woman used to, I think the stones had like slots or something that they could, slot into, or like they had like little stubs or like little indents, like just indents or and protrusions that they could basically fit onto each other so that they wouldn't move much, but it wasn't fixed in place like mortar. I could be wrong about that. It might be a different civilization.
According to local legend, a bird was
kind of like the giant
responsible for seamless construction.
The bird?
According to local legend, a bird. So the bird was responsible for the construction. But let me guess, because the
I didn't
bird
build
is flying,
anything.
that
It wasn't
means
me.
it's those primitive savages' way of viewing an alien spaceship.
The winged creature carried a powerful chemical in its beak.
Napalm.
A substance capable of melting stone.
Saksai Woman means
such a man.
The head of the falcon. Falcon's head.
Oh, that's what it means.
Maybe it was some falcon.
Oh, I can't take the fucking pan flute music seriously. Like, I get it, okay? If I made, like, a video in a certain part of the world, I would probably try and use music from the area. But, I don't know, in Ancient Aliens, it just has a bit of a... It's got a weird vibe to it. It's got a weird vibe to it, you know?
Or maybe some bird people who could connect with the place.
Oh yeah, about the potatoes thing. Didn't like I think like the church used to view potatoes as evil or something because it grew from the ground or something, right? Was that right? I think that used to be a case where the church viewed potatoes as something from the devil because it literally grew from under the dirt. Yeah. And I think the same went for tomatoes as well, where they viewed it as evil, or was it that they viewed it as bad? There's a lot of things I don't remember that well.
But is it possible, as ancient astronaut theorists suggest,
the
the mythical bird might actually have been a spacecraft?
Of course.
He said
by
the
alien
thing.
visitors known to the locals as Space Brothers.
Believe it or not, my academic research is not coming from the bottom of this bottle, so don't take this as scripture. But I'm not entirely sure how we know the dates of, the Incan imperial style found at Ollantaytambo or at Saksai Woman and stuff like that. I trust it is in line with the Incan timeline. We can look into that. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that those Incan imperial stones that you see at Saksai Woman are actually something that was built from a previous culture, a previous race. That just means
I love the closed captions that continuously think Saksai Woman is sexy woman, because that is kind of how it sounds like. It either sounds like sexy human or sexy woman because it's Saksai Woman. Or if you are Philip Ziba, it is pronounced Sasuke Huaman.
means that whatever group that was had the technology.
Yeah, there it is. That's the spelling of Saksai Waman. Sexy woman or Oyonte Tombo. Yeah. So that's how it was spelled.
And therefore, it would make a lot of sense that the Incans would look upon that construction just like Giorgio would and be like, wow, how the hell did they do that? And so they probably also would have come up with their own theories, which are literally exactly what they are doing here. These ancient aliens folks really crack me up because they think they're at like the pinnacle of civilization where like, with all that we've discovered today, the conclusions we're drawing here are founded in some sort of reality. But it's like, dude, for as long as humanity has existed, we have been attributing things we don't understand to fucking gods and, you know, beings from the stars and supernaturalalia of, you know, varying degrees. So it's really funny to think that if the Incans truly didn't build those things, they made their own oral history to explain it, and then, you know, ancient aliens theorists today quote it as though it's scripture, when really it's just two groups of people that didn't know how it was done. That's very bizarre.
I don't discount human ingenuity, but that type of engineering that we still can't duplicate today must raise a flag
argument again
for further consideration.
We still can't do it today, guys.
It's almost extraterrestrial in a sense. Someone had to have taught them these techniques.
All right, guys, pop quiz. I want you to imagine you've been teleported back in time to this site.
I'm imagining.
And you have to recreate those walls. How do you do it? Here's how I would do it. I would use clay, and I would make a model, and I would do it on the ground. I don't know how big, but I would make all of the stones that I want. And then, because we clearly have a reasonable understanding of math and geometry, I would use all of the little stones that have already been measured and fit together in a malleable, easy way to scale up and make the big stones. Let's say an inch equals a foot or something like that. You could measure the base of the stone, it's 3 inches, so you know that's gonna be 3 feet. And then the top of the stone is 12 inches, so that's gonna be 12 feet. And you use that as a model with measurements to cut the stones to shape. And then when you assemble all of it, you have the fucking thing exactly like you made it in clay, a malleable substance. It wasn't like they just went into this and were like, I don't know, cut a stone with a weird shape and then we'll just kind of look at it and see if we can find something that fits in. Like, oh my God. There is a way to do this smarter, not harder. And they're just not, like, it's just not clicking with you that I'm standing on business.
There is no other place like Puma Punku.
It's interesting to see how those blocks fit together so perfectly. In the past,
that's because they cut the stones to fit together. Ancient people could measure. It's not that hard to understand.
But today, the blocks are scattered all over that location.
Yeah, but even in ruin...
Yeah, but back in the day, you couldn't have fit a dollar bill between them.
It is clear that that place was an incredible ancient piece of magnificent engineering.
It looks like complete shit now, but back in the day, I mean, it was probably put together so well it could only be explained with aliens.
Here, I'm pretty sure the reason why it's in ruins is because over time the seismic activity probably dislocated, dislodged them eventually.
Puma Punku. Mainstream scientists believe the
Mainstream scientists drink.
There's my water.
The site was originally constructed about 2,000 years ago. But in 1945, archaeologist Arthur Poznansky
I don't know that guy.
proposed that Puma Punku was much, much older.
I mean,
who is Arthur Poznansky?
Proposing.
This is called Google debunking, guys. You should give it a try sometime.
I'm a Google debunker.
Puma Punku. Puma Punku. What? Poznansky. Arthur Poznansky. How do you spell that shit? Ah, yes. He developed a hyperbolic narrative of Tiwanaku as the cradle of American man and tirelessly promoted it in Europe and the Americas.
Oh,
like
God.
many pioneers, he was not trained as an archaeologist. His theories were based on little...
Poznansky's book about Tiwanaku inspired its preservation at a time when it was being neglected and used for stone quarrying. God, I hate some people sometimes. sometimes.
Concrete information, but he defended them with invaluable passion. His theories were strongly influenced by intellectual trends he lived through and participated in, including racist anthropology.
Yep, that's kind of how it used to be back then.
That sounds like he's the kind of guy who we should take as an authority figure in pretty much fucking everything.
By examining the structures and what he believed were their original alignment with the stars, he dated the ruins to 15,000 BC.
Dated by looking at their alignment with the stars. Graham Hancock, you don't have an original bone in your body. For anyone watching with no background in archaeology, you may be able to feel your hair stand up in the back of your neck when you hear stuff like that.
That's Graham does the same thing.
Something based on its alignment with the stars is complete bullshit. Absolute bullshit. There is not a fucking lick of logic.
Just finished your refresher. The tomato was considered evil due to being related. Oh, yeah, with nightshade. Yeah. The tomato crossed with another plant to create early The tomato was crossed with a plant to create potatoes? What? Holy shit. That was poisonous unless prepared properly. Yeah, because I remember that tomatoes are, because they're part of the nightshade plant. The tomato plant is basically entirely poisonous, except for the fruit. Like if you eat the leaves, you eat the stem, the flowers, the roots, you will get poison. Surprisingly, yes, but this was natural and not a human. Oh, wow! I didn't know that. We're learning a lot of things today.
Or scientific basis behind that. That is just not even. It's just not even. It's not even.
We have had some circumstantial dating, but we have been unable to date the stones of Puma Punku themselves. They could be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years old.
Yeah, they could be hundreds of thousands of years, sure. Like, yeah, let's just make it, like, we can just say anything is about as old as we want it to be. As long as it's convenient, it can be as old as we want. Yeah, you're not going to provide any evidence for that? Philip, was that your name? Yeah.
Punku themselves. They could be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years old. We don't know.
They could be thousands. They could be hundreds of thousands. Fuck it. They could be millions of years old. We don't know fucking anything. Scientists are stupid and it was all aliens. It is amazing the shit that they could get away with in these, like, pseudo-archaeology documentaries with just saying, like, I don't know, fucking might be. Like, yeah, I guess technically you're not wrong. It could.
You say Kuro is over 1,000 years old? 100 years old? Well, technically, according to lore, I am 1,000 years old. I am ancient. Spark notes on my lore, I am a Tengu, and because Tengu historically came up around 1,000 years ago during the Heian period in Japan, I'm that old. I am a fossil? Yeah, I guess. I mean, Shiro's about 500. She's a Yuki-onna, and their legends came up around the Tohoku era, Tohoku period around 500 years ago. What time period was that? Muramachi? I think it's the Muramachi. I am saying the Japanese words in the English way. The Muramachi period. But I think the Heian period was the Heian was when the Tengu came up, and the Muramachi was when the Yuki-onna came up. I might be wrong. Google that to be sure.
Could have been built by aliens. It's just overwhelmingly unlikely that it wasn't. But when you phrase it like that, it makes your brain go like, well, it could have been built with, thousands of people and a lot of energy, and it could have been built by aliens. Both of those theories have the same amount of weight behind them because they both could be.
How did these structures get built?
Right.
We're talking
human ingenuity.
We got a fucking AM radio host on here. Come on, Giorgio. You couldn't find just like a fan to come on and, you know, go beast mode. Jesus. Ufology truly is the greatest interdisciplinary of all professions. I don't know if I'd call it a profession, but you could be anything. You can be a radio host. You can be an Austrian. You can be anything and be a ufologist.
Oh, I know what you mean by Austrian. Yeah, it is a bit of a not so good thing to talk about because unfortunately the ancient aliens conspiracies were largely thought of by some less than ideal people, let's just say, in the years where some war crimes had happened. Yeah. Yeah, right. It is from the Yukion. It is from the Muromachi period. Yeah, I remember correctly. I am glad I remember the things I researched.
Scholars believe the andesite blocks found at Puma Punku were formed by hand with primitive stone tools.
Were formed by hand by these stupid, ignorant, pathetic savages.
But some researchers point to the intricate stonework as evidence of the use of advanced precision technology.
You can achieve right angles and smooth fucking surfaces with, like, fucking aggregate. You can sand this shit down. Have these people ever just, like, rubbed rocks together? Like, it will tend towards being smooth. You can... Dude.
Technology.
One of the amazing things here at Puma Punku is the precision of the blocks.
It's tilting.
I'm be real. It's a very good 90-degree angle. I'm not discounting that at all. Super impressive. But the editors throw a little screenshot of this on screen. You can see him wobbling the square.
It's wobbling.
It's not like a perfect 90 degree. If he puts the black part down on the top, the bottom part is slightly off because it's not a perfect fucking angle. It's really close. I'm not discrediting it. It's really good. It takes skilled craftspeople to make something like this. But if their whole thing is like, it is literally perfect and can only be done with lasers, it's not fucking perfect.
You can see with
Look
this
at how much it's wobbling. There's light
really
shining underneath it.
Very accurate.
Look at that angle.
Look at how shitty that looks. Shining underneath
Wait. Look at how much of a space there is on this. This is not 90 degrees. Come on. You do the same job all day, every day. You get good enough to make a perfectly square rocks using... Yeah. I mean, yes. Credits where it's due. It is a very, very good cut. The ancient people knew what they were doing. But it is not perfectly 90 degrees.
Bro.
Very accurate.
Look at how shitty that looks. Dude, you didn't watch this footage back while you were there and be like, fuck, we should find another stone, or like, at least I can fudge it so people don't see that it's coming off the rock. The whole point of that square is to be a perfect 90. If it's coming off, it means it's not a 90. Jesus.
But how could such primitive people, living perhaps tens of...
Oh, man.
Thousands...
Primitive or not, they built that structure, alright? Shut your mouth.
...of years ago, have produced such flawless stonework.
That mentality
Asian American era has a made of obsidian and carved using other rocks. They were precise enough to be used for hunting. Yeah, ancient people developed napping, not the sleeping napping, the rock hitting, the rock napping. Like they developed really, really, really good arrowheads and knives. They knew what they were doing.
Because these people are viewing humanity as the fucking, ethnologists of the late 1800s did, as moving on a gradient from primitive and savage to civilized and technologically advanced, when that is not how it fucking works.
Yeah.
As much as I love, you know, Sid Meier's civilization, history does not move through the gradient of technology. That's just
we had
not
the Dark
how it
Ages,
happens.
no?
But you are literally looking at mountains of evidence that they did have the technology to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You never question how the fucking Colosseum was built. You never question how the fucking Parthenon was built.
Yeah.
But you sure as shit question how this was built.
Oh, Jesus
Again,
Christ.
I want to underscore that I am not calling people who believe in this theory, who promote this theory, who are interested in this theory, racist.
How you doing?
You can see how theories like this, just like many other ancient history theories, have this weird undertone of racism. It's just so weird, bro. It's so fucking weird. Why y'all gotta be like that?
How are you doing, Hangtown? I am crashing out over a video on ancient aliens. I hate pseudo-archaeology. I hate pseudo-archaeology and the conspiracy theorists. Not bad. Just got back from Wilds. Ooh, got back into Mountain Wilds. Nice. How's it go? Is it going well?
Interesting and unusual stones.
What are they doing brushing that?
Bro is out here wearing the fucking Indiana Jones hat, just like brushing a rock. Hey Google, what do archaeologists do?
Each of these small drill holes are basically evenly spaced.
Okay, all right, Jesus Christ, fucking Indy, let me show you how you do that. Oh, gee, here's a really large rock. I want to put drill holes at the same distance.
Can't you just use like an object as a spacer?
Like I suppose this would be completely impossible without a fucking, whatever that is, a micrometer, a micrometer, if you will. Oh wait, I have a brilliant idea. Hey, Dave, hand me that stick. Thanks, Dave. That's really nice of you. Awesome. Fuck. There we go. Look at that. I want all of the fucking holes to be this far apart. Hey, Dave, can you hand me that pebble off the ground? Thank you. I will now put this fucking stick on the rock and mark each end, and then move the stick and mark it again. And would you look at that? The whole fucking rock has evenly spaced marks across the whole thing. And now I can take a dowel and fucking aggregate and drill a hole really slowly on each one of those points. Boom.
It's good that they dropped Arctem Arcvel and had their biggest update before the DLC release. I have not played Mountain Wilds. Although right now with this laptop, I should be able to. Throughout most of history, knowledge and technology was passed down from mentor to apprentice. Lots of knowledge and technology was lost when a civilization collapsed. Sharing of info and tech is a relatively new concept, so societies only recently didn't need to learn them from scratch if something went wrong. Yeah, like a lot of the pseudo archaeology and like pseudoscience, all these conspiracy theories stem from viewing things with a very modern lens. They think we have power tools, we have a lot of different techniques, and that's why they think it can't be done. But back then, people made do with what they had, and knowledge was passed down, like you said. It is not that okay. It is kind of a big deal, but it's not as difficult as like the conspiracy theorists are saying they are. They added a option tab for CPU optimization. Oh, nice.
Fucking done. Jesus. Experimental archaeology in your own living room. Who needs 2 bricks and $20 when you got 1 fucking chopstick?
And how anyone could think that primitive human beings could have done this.
With the fucking primitive.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Get out of here with that. I mean, look around you at the evidence. Do you see anything that would suggest these people knew anything beyond ooga booga banging rocks together? Ooh. Eric, I would like to apologize. I swear I'm doing this in your honor. You are genuinely an inspiration for what I do today. I do not take my crash out in vain, okay? This crash out is, it's the yin to your yang, you know?
But if otherworldly technology was used at Puma Punku, where is the proof?
Bro, that's what I'm asking. That's it. Are you gonna answer? Please do.
In Danville, Illinois, machinist and toolmaker Chris Nunn has put the Puma Punku stone through the ultimate cutting test, using both laser technology and a modern diamond saw. Though age has worn the surface of the ancient example, the comparison reveals distinct differences.
You've got vitrification on the laser cut side.
I say if they say they use ancient lasers to cut the damn rock, I am going to fucking...
The side cut with the diamond saw, and then whatever tool they use...
Diamond saw, not dinosaur. Closed captions, chill the fuck out.
The side cut with the diamond saw, and then whatever tool they use to cut the ancient surface must have been a different method.
But you guys have diamond saws, I have a fucking T-Rex.
That's good. I'm glad they didn't try and say it was one of those. It wasn't the saw or the fucking melting. But fucking aggregate, dude.
Do you think it's possible that some type of a diamond precision tool was used on the old surface, but because it was such a long time ago, that over time the surface became a bit more rough? And we're talking 10 or even 15,000 years ago.
It's not that old.
That is a reasonable speculation.
I don't think it was that old, though. Wasn't like ancient Egypt 4,000? Ancient Egypt was about 4. Like the pyramid era of ancient Egypt was about 4,000 years ago, right? I hope I'm getting this right, but I think it was about 4,000 years ago. I'm gonna Google that. Give me a second. Hang on. Let me very quickly do this. Ancient Egypt time period. Span over 3,000 years. Wait, so was it like 6,000 years ago? Years ago. Yeah, about 5,000 years ago, and then it lasted for 3,000 years. Okay, I wasn't that far off. Good to know.
The chains of logic are just delightful, truly delightful. I gotta say, I fucking love Giorgio. I know I'm crashing out over this because that's like what I do here, but like you know, my lifelong goal is.
Oh yeah, before anyone mentions it, no, I don't. I know that ancient Egypt is not just one homogeneous civilization that was the same for 5,000 years. There was very distinct differences over the different dynasties. Back, like they had pyramids at one point, and then they went to building the tombs underground. They had the Valley of, what's it called, the Valley of Kings, where the things is now where the tombs were built underground, so that they didn't have to build a new fucking pyramid every time a pharaoh died, so that they could bury the pharaohs in the tomb. And because it was underground, things weren't stolen as often, and it went from having no carvings to having carvings. Yeah, ancient Egypt lasted so long that ancient Egypt was researching ancient Egypt. Like Cleopatra was born closer to the iPhone being invented than the pyramids. It's a very long time ago.
To smoke a fucking fat one with Giorgio. That's all I want out of this life. Giorgio,
I hope I'm not
Let's fucking do it sometime, all right?
We could by crashing out so much over
think
this.
About mutually beneficial it would be if
I
you
usually
and I
don't
sat down
crash
in front
out
of the camera together.
over
Exactly.
much.
Whatever machinery it is that they
yes.
had was able, with amazing accuracy, to replicate one after another. That's very sophisticated.
Yeah, it's an ingenious way of building a...
All right. I don't think we should be trusting these guys to tell us that this level of precision is evidence that all of these blocks were cut from the same mold. Because once again, you can remake nearly identical copies of the same thing with very simple technology. Let's say the...
Oh yeah, like why? Like they say that these things, like that these little the H blocks, like the H stones, like these were made in such a way that it's like very long. Like they made it one by one. Like couldn't they just have made they cut like one long block of stone, and then measured out how long they needed to cut each one, cut each individual piece, and then carve the like portion needed to make the individual where was it, like they could make a very long version of this so that you can just imagine it gets stretched out, and then they would measure the top part and bottom part, and then cut the part out, and then from here they just measure this part, measure that part, cut that out, measure this part, measure that part, cut that part. Like, I'm pretty sure they did that instead of, you know, cutting each one of these one by one to make everything look so similar. From what you're tracking, they use water and abrasive slurry, similar to what some places use for mining and jade cutting. Yeah. Back in Egypt, they used to use copper saws and sand as an abrasive. They would put sand, and then they would put sand where they need to cut, and then use the copper saw and apply force so that the sand acts as an abrasive to cut into the stones, because the stones were made of granite. I think they were made of granite. They should be made of granite, but the stone blocks for the pyramid were made of granite, so they used the sand as an abrasive to cut the stone, and then when the copper tools got worn out from the sand, they would replace the copper tool. Yay!
Genius way of building a...
All right. I don't think we should be trusting these guys to tell us that this level is very simple technology. Let's say the middle of the fucking H block is this length. I'm bringing my broken chopstick back. You go around to all the fucking stonemasons, you say, yo, fucking Chris from Boulder.
He was Ben.
This is how big the middle of the H is supposed to be. Let me mark it for you. And then he says, that's awesome. Do you want to join my polycule? I need a fucking, okay, you know what? I'm saying it. I'm putting it out there. Video number 35 million that Milo, you know, is going to promise that someday will get made. Are you a stonemason?
We get similar examples of this. There are people who use hand tools to make marble statues with amazing results. One statue can take months or even years. Yeah. Similar concept of using big bricks closer to size and then long, tedious fine work. Yeah.
In the greater New England area, email me if you think that you could offer some insight in shit like this, because I would love nothing more than to meet like an actual stonemason who works with stone.
I would want to try and do a stonemasonry
shit like this can be done
or
with hand
carpentry.
Tools, because I
would like to learn a
that
trade.
it fucking can. So I've been yearning for a video where I can be like
if I can make my own furniture, that would be awesome.
But I don't have the skills to do it, which is these guys.
But I can't afford materials.
So if you are a stonemason, if you know a stonemason, if you have, you know, share this video with some fucking guy that does it online. I don't know. Let me know. I would love to do a video.
Hey, Milo, but isn't your dad a stonemason? Why don't you like ask your dad? Unless something happened, I don't want to. Now I'm feeling bad for asking this. I'm pretty sure he won't know. I'm pretty sure you won't be seeing this, Milo, but I do wonder.
Video showing how to do a fucking right angle with hand tools or make something fucking flat.
After years
if I
of
work
research,
with concrete or cement, make sure I wear the proper gloves. Lime burns are very bad, and yes, you're speaking from experience. Oh shit. Yeah, I've heard like definitely do not make sure it doesn't touch your skin and all that. I've heard that before. Yeah, it is definitely. It's very caustic, isn't it?
Mainstream archaeologists have
Mainstream
said the
archaeology.
massive stones were
Drink
hewn
again.
at quarries over 60 miles away.
I'm glad I'm drinking
and
water,
then rolled
or
to
else I
Puma
would have been
Punku
passed out by
on
now.
logs. What nobody talks about is the irrefutable fact that we are at an altitude of 12,800 feet, which means we are above the natural tree line.
All right, George, riddle me this.
Let's see. Barely. Conifers in the Andes grow up to 12,000 feet. What is that in meters? 800 feet of elevation gain is typical for a moderate difficulty hike. Yeah.
If this was built 2,000 years ago,
I would have passed out at 90 minutes.
2,000 years ago.
Shut up.
So maybe there would be.
Then
trees.
again, I don't drink much alcohol to begin with, so I probably would have passed
Dead
out.
Stop. Full stop. Wouldn't he be surprised? Not saying he's wrong. If you're making wooden rollers Do you think you're gonna make a goddamn 60-mile-long road of wooden rollers to roll the fucking stone there? No, you're gonna have like a handful of wooden rollers, and you're gonna be moving it and putting the rollers in front. And if the stone is originating from a quarry 60 miles away, you don't need to cut the goddamn rollers up where the fucking building site is. You cut the rollers close to the fucking quarry, and you put the things in front of it, and you roll the thing up there, and some poor bastards drag their asses back to roll the fucking next ones.
Would have required some kind of super technology.
Yeah, super technology. Yeah,
gravitation and anti-gravity.
What the fuck?
Huge lifting vehicles. Something that ancient aliens would have had.
Are you fucking high? I need whatever
it's just one of those things.
Like, I just want to. Whatever he is taking, I need someone just to go through this fucking video.
Those days. How do you fucking know what aliens have? If I stopped every time I had to say something, I'd be here for years. This is literally the thing.
They had hundreds of beasts and rollers, not to mention the insane amount of slaves back in the day, or just a waterway. Yeah, like again, back to Egypt, they had the Nile River. Like I've heard people say that they expected them to drag these things all the way back the length of almost an entire Florida away to get back to the place they need to build it because the quarry was that far away. No, they had the Nile River. They could just put the damn thing on a fucking boat and sail the rocks back to where they needed to build it.
That I always say about pseudo-archaeology.
And also, they had slave labor, and they also had a lot of craftsmen. It wasn't just slaves; it was slaves and craftsmen. But they had a lot of people working on it.
Pseudo-archaeology is always at an advantage to actual archaeology because it is so easy to say some bullshit, and it takes so much more time to undo it. It takes one idiot to throw a stone into a lake and 10 wise men to get it back.
This video is 1 hour and 10 minutes long. It's almost 2 hours at this point.
It's a system of interconnecting blocks. And that is unique on this Earth.
But that doesn't mean that it was built by aliens. There was just a quality control guy that went around and was like, fucking Chris, the goddamn H block needs to be this big. I've shown you 12 times, and no, for Christ's sake, I don't want to join your fucking polycule.
Many of the blocks were prefabricated blocks.
Eric!
Prefabricated blocks means...
Eric, this one's for you. The sky's blue. Eric is smiling down at us. Rest easy, my friend. Rest.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised to hear that Eric von Däniken died. Rest in peace, guy. I wouldn't say friend. I do not agree with most of what you say. I think Eric von Däniken even opened a museum, quote unquote, to show off the. I guess it is called a museum, but he opened a museum to show off the ancient alien artifacts that would work. Like he had an exhibit of the Dendera light powered by Baghdad batteries, which does not make any sense. They were like really far apart.
Easy.
The Puma Punku are the ruins of temples made by the Aymara. Aymara are the highland Indians up there. But the Aymara were Stone Age people. They had not even writing.
Oh, Eric. You're putting me in a tricky position here, my friend. I don't want to
Jesus Christ.
Seem like I'm dancing on your grave. So I need to be very
They could have easily
careful.
just molded everything at the location since everything has been around for so long you would never notice they were molded. Yeah. I wouldn't say they were molded. So, wouldn't molding mean like casting and all that? Or is it molding for like do people use molds for cutting?
With my words here. Eric is an older gentleman, as you could see, even at this time, and so I will give him some slack. But once again, he is falling into the exact same trap of they were a primitive Stone Age people who didn't even have writing. That's because technology does not work like that. It is not a linear progression as the sort of Eurocentric worldview would have one think. Y'all, I'm gonna be totally honest. We are halfway through this episode, and I have just finished my second cider, and I don't think I can get through the rest of this Not because I don't want to and because I can't get more shit-faced. I always can. But I don't need to give my editors 8 hours of footage 2 weeks before we need a video out. So I think I'm gonna call it here.
Oh,
and
we had to edit the video.
I may pick this up.
Okay.
I may pick this back up because I'm invested. I'm invested in Giorgio's hair. If you want to see me finish this episode, let me know. I would be
Yes, I
more
want to
than
see you
happy
finish
to.
this episode.
But for
Please
now,
finish
I'm
this
gonna go
episode.
drink some water and
When the
I'll
next
hand it
part
back
comes
over,
out, I am going to
Milo
do
in the
a second
studio.
reaction.
I don't know what I was thinking, that was something that I could do entirely in one sitting. That was really awful. But I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna finish the episode. I just need to sleep it off. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you could leave an interaction. Comments, likes, shares, and all that good stuff helps boost the video in the algorithm, and it doesn't cost you a cent. Ad revenue is what keeps the channel going and allows me to continue making this content for free here on YouTube. Your interactions help more people see it, which allows me to continue making it for free. Like I always say, it's like tipping the bellhop.
I'm going to put this on YouTube as well, and I'm going to link the original video
Hi everybody.
in the bottom,
Hi
in the description.
How's it going? And of course, a massive thank you to my editorial team. I may be the one in front of the camera, but they are the only reason these videos look half decent. Each one of these videos represents hundreds of hours of work between about 10 different people, and they are the true beating heart of this team. So join me in giving them a big thank you. Also, for our 3 million subscriber special, I want to do a bit of a meet the team because there's a lot of new people that you guys have never met before. Give everyone a chance to, get on camera for a second. So if you have any questions that you would want to ask the team, drop that in the comments. And lastly, if you want to support the channel directly and get some beautiful swag to decorate your house or apartment, head on over to the store and grab a poster, grab some stickers. We got pins, we got all kinds of fun stuff.
Mud baking and a few other techniques could have been used to make a mold and would not have survived long term. It is also possible mold materials would have been repurposed since older civilizations were very good at recycling resources. Just a rough prefab that holds structure shape like wood holding or a square large structure well raw resource to get placed and then dry. Oh, okay.
Like I said, all the proceeds go to helping keep the channel alive and are split with the actual artist. Myself and the rest of the team are very grateful for any and all purchases. Like I said, it helps keep the channel running and also means that we don't have to take shitty sponsorships. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. My name is Milo Rossi. Remember to stay curious, stay inquisitive, and most importantly, you can stream it on Pakutuku and with a Crumble subscription. Wow, Crumble like the cookie? You're telling me I crumbled this cookie?
Hey, what's up, guys? Today, this is miniminuteman, and I'm here with Schminky.
Car.
This is
Car.
Ruben and Schminky.
Have car.
Now kiss.
It's on Peepoo. You can find it on Dongus.
Oh yeah, this editor over here, John Franco. If I remember correctly, he also does editing for Lindsay Nicole, who is one of the human history, natural history YouTubers I've watched. I also like watching Casual Geographic. That he has really good videos. Z Frank also has some pretty good videos. Like I watch a lot of these type of videos, especially when I do when I have to do some work on my own projects. I just use this as I just listen to it over and over again while working, so that I can remember the talking points.
Find it on Peener. You can find it on Pungus. You can stream it on Pungus. You can throw it back. Crazy style.
Good video. It took me almost twice the time to finish this thing.
With a Crumbus subscription.
It took me almost twice as long to finish the video than the video length itself, because I had to add in so many
TV, you can find it on
like I had to put in so many different tangents.
Yeah. If you get the edition, the Plungle Platinum edition.
They still have the Roman aqueducts that have pipe cement that lasted for ages. Oh yeah, apparently I'm pretty sure we managed to recreate it at this point.
Reasonably be
I think we figured out the recipe.
Creatable by actual people. Fellas, why don't we have alcoholic milk yet? It's 2026. Where's the alcoholic milk? Kahlua. Yeah. Don't they ferment yak milk in like
if I remember correctly, the cement they made was able to self-repair to some extent because the way they made it, like I forget the exact details, but the way they made it had pockets of material inside that, when exposed to water, would basically turn into like the cement itself. So they had pockets of pockets of material that weren't turned into cement yet in the cement itself, and as the cement aged and cracked and water seeped in, it would react with the materials and basically create this cement again, which would seal up the crack. I think that was how they made it back then. I forget the exact details. It was something like that, I think.
Mongolia or something? Who up fermenting the yak milk? Who's trying to get the yak milk fermented?
I tried yak cheese before. Pretty decent, pretty nice cheese.
High-pitched wine.
High-pitched wine?
WebMD? What does that mean? House or your water bottle. Head on down to the description. Did one of these buttons just fall off? How did that even happen? Bro, I didn't even do anything, dog. I tried to fit my girlfriend between 2 bricks. God damn it, there's little fragments of bamboo all over the couch. One of these things is gonna impale my leg and I'm gonna get fucking sepsis.
Good video.